Ebusia ene Ghana Military Academy graduation parade no etimi eto eko so na President John Dramani Mahama enya akwanya edinim de ekote kire alongside Finance Minister ena Interior Minister nyina omunya akwanya ekopiem eho muntaka Muhammad Sansana Ramdia ato force honorable enso omunya akwanya ekopien ha bibia ekoso kama na president ekoye no otimi emeki bibia ema bibia eye successful a enedie yeko ne enya konya etimi edi full video no etimi edi upload yebasere so beja konya a subscribe channel no edi ama na channel etimi grow ama bibia etimi adakwentiri so far finally 2026 Ghana military academic graduation no etimi ato akoso yenko Nienko enjoy video no or the reactions emfa emlo.
Cadet! Show! Dead!
You are most welcome, honorables.
Oh! Dead! Stand!
And Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Shall we all rise to welcome him and remain standing for the national salute?
Cadet! Show! Dead!
You are most welcome, Mr. President.
Parade of the arms.
All media personnel are requested to go back to the designated locations. The parade commander, senior under officer Ajari Peter Salom, will now invite the reviewing officer to inspect the parade.
Good morning, Your Excellency. Ghana Military Academy 2026 graduation parade from the 2 officers, 256 graduating cadets, 124 permanent staff, and the Armed Forces Mass Band on parade, ready for inspection. Senior Under Officer Ejari Peter Selom reporting. Your Excellency.
The parade commander, senior under officer Ajari Peter Salom, has invited the President of the Republic to inspect the parade. The President will be accompanied by the Chief of the Defense Staff, the Commandant Ghana Military Academy, the President's aide-de-camp, and the Acting Academy Sergeant Major. The smart-looking stake orderlies are Private Echampon Portia and Private Nsombila Mary.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the parade ground is deemed hallowed grounds. All pressmen are therefore please requested to stay off the parade square during the inspection.
The parade commander will now ask for permission from the reviewing officer.
Distinguished guests, ladies, civil military relations, both internally and internationally. The band provides melodious renditions at all national parades and ceremonies. And at the international level, the band continues to bring great credit and honor to the armed forces and our dear nation.
They need to halt at the time. The next is the Navy contingent, also made up of permanent staff from the Ghana Navy. It is under the command of Cadet Corporal Alafa Anieteba Daniel. His supernumeraries are Naval Cadet Kwesi Richard and Naval Cadet Amega Frida. The non-commissioned officer supernumerary is Petty Officer Class 2 Hansen William.
The next is the Army contingent, also made up of permanent staff from the Ghana Army. It is under the command of Cadet Sergeants Kobek, Kingsford, Naimbe, with Officer Cadet Akins Isaac Marlene and Officer Cadet Darami Mohammed as the supernumeraries. The non-commissioned officer supernumerary is Sergeant Opoku Mensa Bernard. The next is the Air Force Escort contingent, also made up of permanent staff from the Ghana Air Force.
Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to do us the honor, Mr. President.
First award is the Eagle Award. The Eagle Award, also known as the Chief of Air Staff's Award, is awarded to the overall best regular flight cadet in the Air Faculty. It is awarded to Cadet Sergeant Major Takiotu Ni Ohene. Cadet Sergeant Major Takiotu Ni Ohene was born on 7th August in Accra to Reverend Percy Ni Takiotu and Madam Mercy Na Takiotu. His educational journey began at Jodoro Integrated School in Achim Odan, where he successfully obtained his basic education certificate. He then proceeded to the Infantipim School, one of Ghana's renowned secondary institutions, where he earned his senior high school certificate. Cadet Sergeant Major Takiotu later gained admission to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where he pursued a Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics, further sharpening his analytical and problem-solving abilities. Athletic by nature, he maintains an active lifestyle and in his leisure time enjoys playing basketball and following mixed martial arts. In addition to the plaque, he receives a laptop from the Chief of Air Staff. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in celebrating Cadet Sergeant Major Takiotu Ni Ohene with a round of applause.
The next award is the Sextant Award. The Sextant Award, which is also the Chief of the Naval Staff Award, is the highest honor conferred upon the overall best regular midshipman in the Naval Faculty. The recipient of this award is Junior Under Officer Abate Alex Kujo. Junior Under Officer Abate Alex Kujo was born on 2nd October to Mr. Daniel Yao Abate and Mrs. Gifty Abate. His journey is one marked by steady progress and quiet excellence. He began his formal education at Ajay Kojo Basic School in Ashiaman, where he obtained his basic education certificate, laying a strong foundation for what was to come. He proceeded to Chemu Senior High School, where he successfully earned his senior high education certificate, and went on to gain admission to the Regional Maritime University. There, he pursued a Bachelor of Science in Marine Engineering, graduating with second-class honors, a testament to his discipline, intellect, and commitment to hard work. Beyond academics, Junior Under Officer Abate is a cadet who values balance. He enjoys playing football, reading inspirational literature, and watching historical documents. In addition to the plaque, he receives a laptop from the Chief of Naval Staff. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Junior Under Officer Abate Alex Kojo.
The next award to be presented is the Vanguard Award. The Vanguard Award, also known as the Chief of Army Staff's Award, is given to the best Army cadet of regular career course. This year, the recipient of this award is Senior Under Officer Ejari Peter Selom. Senior Under Officer Ejari Peter Selom was born on 14th November in Accra to Mr. Francis Kweku Ejari and Mrs. Florence Ejari. He hails from KJB in the Oti region. Senior Under Officer Ejari began his educational journey at Cosmos Basic School in La Paz, where he received his basic education. He continued to Opoku Wari School, where he successfully obtained his senior high school certification before gaining admission to the University of Ghana. There he pursued a Bachelor of Science in Plant Biology and Biochemistry, graduating with a second-class honors. Beyond the classroom, Senior Under Officer Ejari is a cadet with creative and athletic interests. In his leisure time, he enjoys writing poems and playing basketball. In addition to the plaque, he receives a laptop from the Chief of Army Staff. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in acknowledging Senior Under Officer Ejari with a round of applause.
The next award to be presented is the Chief of the Defense Staff Award.
The Acting Minister for Defense, Ministers of State, and senior government officials present, Chief of the Defense Staff, Members of Parliament, and other guests, Members of the Council of State, Service Chiefs of the Ghana Armed Forces, Commandant of the Ghana Military Academy, and all commandants present, generals and heads of sister security services, officers, soldiers, defense civilian staff, graduating officer cadets, families of graduating officer cadets, distinguished guests, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen. At the last parade, we had several of our colleagues with us, including our former Minister of Defense. Unfortunately, they died in a tragic helicopter crash. We pray that God gives them peaceful repose in heaven. I give thanks to the Almighty God and express my profound pleasure at joining you once again for the graduation parade of the Ghana Military Academy. What we have witnessed this morning is a powerful demonstration of discipline, professionalism, and excellence, which is a hallmark of the Ghana Armed Forces. The precision, confidence, and bearing of the 263 officer cadets on parade today reflect months of rigorous training and personal sacrifice. The crisp drills, coordinated movements, and prompt execution of commands testify to the high standards of leadership and instruction offered at this academy. I commend the Military High Command, the Commandant, and the entire training staff for their devotion and sacrifice in transforming these cadets from civilians into officers ready to serve the Republic. You have upheld the Academy's noble motto of service, devotion, and sacrifice. Commissioning officers in these times of limited resources underscores our resolve to maintain a capable and resilient armed forces to confront the security challenges of our time. Distinguished guests, the security environment in our sub-region remains complicated and volatile. Violent extremism, terrorism, and transnational crime continue to pose serious threats, particularly along our northern border. Globally, the rise of non-state actors and asymmetric warfare has reshaped the nature of security challenges. These realities demand a comprehensive and coordinated national response. Security cannot be seen as the sole responsibility of the armed forces and security agencies. It is a shared national duty. Citizens, communities, traditional authorities, civil society, and governments must work together to protect the peace and stability we all so cherish. I therefore urge all Ghanaians to remain vigilant and security conscious in safeguarding our nation's peace. As we celebrate our graduating cadets, we do so against the backdrop of Ghana's proud legacy in international peace support operations. Since 1960, when Ghana first participated in a UN mission in the Republic of Congo, our nation has remained steadfast in its commitment to global peace and security. Today, Ghana is among the leading troop contributing countries to the United Nations peacekeeping missions. Our men and women serve with distinction in 15 missions worldwide under the United Nations, the African Union, and the ECOWAS. From Lebanon to South Sudan and from Abyei to Somalia, Ghanaian peacekeepers continue to earn global respect for their professionalism, discipline, and respect for human dignity. I assure you that transparency, fairness, and merit will continue to guide the selection of personnel for peace support operations, ensuring that only the most qualified represent our nation abroad. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Ghana has also distinguished herself as a leader in gender inclusion in peacekeeping. Our female participation in formed units and staff positions significantly exceeds United Nations targets, affirming our commitment to equity and operational excellence. Exposure to conflict environments has reinforced the Ghana Armed Forces' deep respect for constitutional rule and democratic governance. In a sub-region challenged by unconstitutional changes of government, our armed forces remain firm defenders of our democracy, civilian authority, and the rule of law. To our graduating cadets, you inherit this proud tradition. Uphold it with honor, courage, and integrity. My fellow citizens, our natural resources are a sacred trust, and yet illegal mining has caused severe damage to our rivers, our forests, and our farmlands. In response, my government established the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, and implemented a comprehensive strategy centered on strict enforcement, public education, alternative livelihoods, technology, and institutional coordination. These measures are producing results. Forests and river bodies have been declared security zones. Permanent military bases have been established, and offenders have been arrested and are being prosecuted. Rivers such as the Pra, Ankobra, and Ofin are gradually recovering. Let me be clear. illegal mining will continue to be confronted decisively and without fear or favor. But this fight requires national unity. It is a moral, civic, and generational duty. And I call on all Ghanaians to stand together to restore and protect our land. As we celebrate today, we remain mindful of conflicts in Boko, Biniyiri, Nkwanta, and other places which have disrupted lives and livelihoods. The government has increased security presence, facilitated mediation among traditional leaders and stakeholders, also provided humanitarian assistance, and initiated long-term development interventions to address the root causes. To our soon-to-be commissioned officers, your duty extends beyond combat readiness. You are guardians of peace, justice, and national unity. Serve with courage, humility, and professionalism. At the recent Armed Forces Wasa, I addressed some difficulties this administration has inherited from the previous government regarding payments of gratuities to our retiring officers. And I indicated that government would work to resolve these challenges surrounding the CI 129. Unfortunately, some of our retirees have opted to seek legal recourse. I wish to assure the affected officers that government will not shirk its responsibility to our men and women in uniform who have served our nation well, and that will find an acceptable solution to this challenge. Distinguished guests, strengthening the operational readiness of the Ghana Armed Forces remains a #1 priority for my administration. We're investing in modern equipment, advanced training, and improved welfare to respond effectively to terrorism, piracy, and cross-border crime. Plans are well advanced to acquire new helicopters to enhance air mobility of our Air Force and rapid response capabilities. We'll also soon receive rotor blades to bring our MH-17 heavy lift helicopters back into service. In addition, the multi-purpose sports complex, which I promised in my last address to you, has been included in the Big Push program and will be delivered soon. At the recent Wasa, I cut the sword to mark the start of construction of 2,000 assorted housing units for the armed forces. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just the beginning of our program to provide 10,000 new housing units for our armed forces over the next 5 years. Over the next 3 years, approximately 12,000 new personnel will be recruited nationwide, supported by the establishment of forward operating bases in strategic border areas. These initiatives reflect our unwavering commitment to a professional, resilient, and well-equipped armed forces. Several years ago, in my first incarnation as president, I addressed you as your commander-in-chief in the ceremonial uniform of the infantry, the Ghana Army. Last year, I addressed you at this same event in the ceremonial uniform of the Navy. Today, I address you in the ceremonial uniform of the Ghana Air Force. This is to pay respect to our men and women of the Air Force who work tirelessly to keep our country safe. Graduating cadets, today marks a defining moment in your lives. In a few moments, you will no longer be officer cadets, but commissioned officers of the Ghana Armed Forces. Leadership is not about rank or privilege. It is about responsibility, service, and sacrifice. I urge you to lead with integrity, uphold courage in adversity, show compassion in command, inspire loyalty amongst your men, command respect, and honor the traditions of the Ghana Armed Forces. The path ahead of you will test you, but your training has prepared you very well to serve with pride and unwavering loyalty to Ghana. I congratulate all award winners and commend your excellence in leadership academics, and military skills. To all graduating cadets, on behalf of the government and people of Ghana, I extend to you my warmest congratulations. Long live the Ghana Armed Forces, long live our democracy, long live Ghana, and may God bless us all. Now I proceed to the conferment. By the powers vested in me by the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, I, as President of the Republic and the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, do hereby grant you the graduating officers of cadets of Regular Career Course 64 and Short Service and Special Duties Intake 62, the President's Commission into the Ghana Armed Forces. Congratulations.
Thank you for answering our call when we came calling. The second part of this morning's parade, which is the presentation of the commissioning parchments to the newly commissioned officers by the review officer, will take place at the anteroom of the officers' mess. Access to the mess is controlled, so all are humbly requested to cooperate with security and protocol officers. All are reminded that only special guests invited for the parchment ceremony will be permitted to enter the officer cadet mess.